Howdy gang, and welcome back to Pool School. Well, it's springtime in Arizona, and that means swim season is right around the corner. So today I'm going to give you a short list of some things that you could be taking care of right now so that you can avoid having any downtime or interruptions to your swim season. So what do you say we get going? Alrighty folks, before we get started, I want to thank you for watching this video. Remind you to like this video if you do by clicking that little thumbs up icon below this video. Subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already, and please share my channel with everyone you know who owns a pool. Also, don't forget to check out my website, poolschooler.com, for more exclusive members-only content that will save you even more money servicing your pool yourself. Remember also, this is not an exhaustive list, but these are the things that typically go wrong during the summer months that cause your pool to be down for a substantial amount of time. And rather than wait for that to happen, you can take care of these things now and maybe avoid it. Alrighty, here we go. Number one, if your pool water needs to be changed, this would be a good time to change it. You don't want to change your water out and have your pool empty during the hot summer months when the temperature is above 86 degrees, 84 degrees Fahrenheit, because it can cause cracking of the plaster. And some say not the PebbleTec, but I think sometimes it can dry out the PebbleTec as well. So how do you know when it's time to change your water? If you haven't seen my video on cyanuric acid and what you need to know about it, please watch it. I'll put a link in the description below this video to that video. But typically, if your pool water hasn't been changed out for 5 years, or your cyanuric acid levels are above 300 parts per million, it's probably a good idea that you're going to need to change that water out before the swim season starts so that your pool will be more efficient at maintaining the chlorine levels. Number two, service your filter. Okay, if you have a cartridge filter, it's pretty simple. Take the filter apart and clean the cartridges. I have done 3 videos on 3 different types of cartridge filters and how to clean the cartridges. Please check those out. I'll put the links in the description below this video. Also, while you're doing that, it's a good idea to inspect the cartridges to see if they are worn out enough to have to be replaced. Typically, cartridges will last you 3 to 5 years with proper care. But one of the ways to tell, 2 ways to tell, is if the bands around the cartridges are all broken off and missing, that's probably a good indicator it's time to replace those cartridges. Or if the fabric of the cartridges appears really pulpy and pithy, that's probably a good indicator that those fabric is worn out too much and it's time to replace those cartridges. But that's the first thing if you have a cartridge filter. If you have a DE filter, please, first and foremost, watch my video on DE filters and why you should not have one, okay? But this is the time of year when it's a good idea to take that DE filter apart if you have one, have the grids cleaned, and then inspect them for any wear and tear or weaknesses or tears in the grids, so that way you don't have any issues with those things tearing. If you do have any tears in the grids, replace the entire set of grids. But again, watch my video on DE filters and why you shouldn't have one. This would be the time of year I would say if you're going to replace it, it's a good idea to replace your DE filter and get rid of it completely. Put in a high efficiency sand filter, and instead of using sand inside the filter, in order to filter as good and efficiently as a DE filter, use Dr. Dryden's Activate glass filter medium. I'll put a link to their website so you can research that. It makes a sand filter as good as a DE filter with that product in it, without the health and safety risks of DE. So if you have a DE filter, take care of your DE filter or replace it altogether. If you have a sand filter and it's been 3 to 5 years, it might be a good idea, since you've done this, it might be a good idea to replace the sand in your filter. And again, when you do, make sure look into Dr. Dryden's Activate glass filter media, because again, the sand filters used to be my least favorite type of filters because of the lack of size of the particles that they used to filter. But with this Dr. Dryden's Activate glass filter media, it filters as good as the best DE filter without the risk. So check into that, and if it's been 3 to 5 years since you replaced the sand in your filter, do that, okay? Okay, the third thing you might want to do, and again, this is not an exhaustive list, but the third thing you might want to do is, if you have a plaster pool and it's been a while and you see there's staining or there's mineral deposits on the bottom of the pool, they look like little blobs of stuff, like amoebas, this is a good time to drain your pool and have it acid washed, okay? Now, I've heard that you can acid wash PebbleTec pools, but some of the PebbleTec pools of late have had pretty bad dye jobs on the stones, and when you use the acid on the acid wash for a PebbleTec pool, it sometimes will bleed the dye off of them and make a mess of your pool. So I'm not a fan of acid washing a PebbleTec pool, but if you have a plaster pool, this is the time to drain it, acid wash it, and if they have those mineral deposits, they can sand those off at the same time. Then you're also starting out with fresh water and you're good to go. Okay, the last thing, and that's number 4. Anything that you want to do to the plumbing or the system of your pool, this is a good time to do it. This is the time when it's cooler, you don't have people in the pool, you don't have such a high demand on chemicals. This is a good time to take that time to do any type of plumbing remodels, plumbing upgrades, pipe replacements. Just inspect your whole system to make sure the pumps, the motor, the system is not leaking, and there's no like screaming of your motor. If your motor's screaming, it might be a good idea to look into replacing it. But this is a good time to check those things out and see if there's anything that you want to do to your pool to upgrade it or improve it or repair the plumbing system before the season starts, so that way you don't risk any downtime. So there you go, folks. 4 simple things that you can be doing to your pool before the season starts to ensure that your pool won't be down and you will lose some of your swim time during that swim season. I hope it made sense. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below this video, or you can email me directly. My email address is going to come across the bottom of the screen. As always, it is kennypoolschool@gmail.com. Once again, kennypoolschool@gmail.com. I want to remind you once again to like, subscribe, and share my channel with everyone you know. Check out my membership website, poolschooler.com. And until we meet again, remember, be safe, have fun, and always watch those kids and elderly folk and pets around water. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.